The wind howled against the glass windows of Martin's general store, carrying with it the kind of cold that made the night feel uneasy, dangerous. Inside, under the dim yellow lights, Emily Carter, the youngest cashier on the staff, was counting the day's earnings with trembling fingers. She didn't know why, but something in her heart whispered that tonight would not end like every other night. Emily was only 19, soft-spoken, hard-working, and still healing from a difficult childhood. She had taken this evening shift to support her younger brother, Jacob, after their father passed away last winter. Every day was a struggle, but Emily carried herself with quiet strength she didn't even fully recognize. And tonight, that strength would be tested. The closing shift. It was already past closing time. The metal shutters were halfway down, the aisles silent except for the faint hum of refrigerators. Emily called out, "Anyone still shopping? We're closed." No answer. She sighed and returned to the register, unaware that 3 members of the Iron Widow's gang had been circling the parking lot for the past hour, waiting for her to be alone. She also didn't know that at the back of the store, in the camping aisle, 3 bikers from the Silver Serpents Motorcycle Club were still inside, comparing knives for an upcoming mountain trip. They were big, tattooed, intimidating men, but every worker in town knew they were respectful, protective, almost fatherly. Emily had no idea they were even there. The thugs enter. Just as she pulled the last set of receipts, the front door rattled. Then slammed open. Emily froze. 3 men in black hoodies walked in, Rick, Shadow, and Miles, faces half covered and eyes wild. "Store's closed," Emily whispered. Shadow smirked. "We ain't here to shop, sweetheart." Her heart hammered. She instinctively backed up toward the counter, but Rick rounded it before she could react. "We know you close alone," he said. "Easy money, no witnesses." Her breath caught. "Please, just leave." Miles flicked open a pocketknife. Emily's knees shook. She thought of Jacob waiting at home. She thought of her father's Bible on the nightstand. She thought of praying, but fear swallowed her voice. The thugs cornered her behind the register. Rick grabbed her wrist. Shadow snatched the cash drawer. Emily didn't scream. She couldn't. The bikers hear everything. At the back of the store, Dean, Luke, and Matthew, 3 veteran bikers with rough voices and hearts made of gold, were inspecting a tent when the loud bang echoed. Matthew raised an eyebrow. "Dean, you hear that?" Dean, the biggest among them, tilted his head. "Yeah, sounded like trouble." Then they heard Emily's trembling voice. Then Shadow's mocking laughter. Luke's jaw tightened. Nobody talks to that girl like that. Emily had once helped Luke's wife when she fainted in this very store. Matthew remembered Emily slipping extra canned food into a homeless woman's basket. Dean remembered seeing her wait in the rain for the bus, protecting a paper bag of groceries like it was her last possession. These men respected her, and now she was in danger. Silently, they put away the camping gear and began walking toward the front, each step slow, heavy, and intentional. The harassment escalates. Rick shoved Emily against the counter. "Open the safe." I can't," she stuttered. "It uses the manager's code." He grabbed her hair. "Try again." Tears welled in her eyes. Miles kicked a display shelf, sending products crashing to the floor. Shadow whistled mockingly, waving the cash drawer. Emily tried again, hands trembling on the keypad, though she knew it wouldn't open. "Useless," Rick snarled. He raised his hand to strike her. And that's when the voice came. A voice like gravel, like thunder rolling through the night. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." The thugs spun around and saw 3 giant silhouettes emerging from the store's shadows. Dean, Luke, Matthew, leather jackets, steel boots, patches glinting under fluorescent light. The Silver Serpents. The showdown. Shadow laughed nervously. "This ain't your business, old man." Dean cracked his knuckles. "Kid, everything in this store is my business when you're hurting someone who didn't deserve it." Miles held up his knife. "Back off." Luke stepped forward, his voice calm, controlled, dangerous. "You really want to point that toothpick at me?" Before they could blink, he snatched it out of Miles's hand and snapped it in half. Shadow took a swing. Matthew dodged and pinned him against a shelf with one arm. Rick lunged at Emily again, maybe to grab her as a hostage. But Dean grabbed him by the back of his hoodie and lifted him clean off the ground. "You touch her again," Dean growled, "and they'll be picking your teeth out of the cereal aisle." The thugs were no match. Within seconds, the bikers had them disarmed, pinned, and begging to let them go. Emily stood there shaking, covering her mouth with both hands. She had never felt so terrified. And never so protected. Dash dash dash. The police arrive. Luke called 911, explaining everything. The cops were already familiar with the Iron Widow's gang. They arrived within minutes, handcuffing the thugs and thanking the bikers for intervening. One officer gently asked Emily if she needed medical attention. She shook her head. I'm okay, thanks to them. She looked at the bikers, eyes filled with tears. You saved me. Dean placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You don't deserve fear in your workplace, kid. We just did what any decent man should do. Emily wiped her tears. I thought I was alone tonight. Luke smiled. You were never alone. We were just down the aisle. Dash dash dash. Emily's breakthrough. After the police left, Emily sat on a crate behind the counter, hands still shaking. She whispered, I was so scared, I didn't know what to do. Matthew crouched beside her. You did everything right. Fear doesn't mean weakness. Courage is what you showed by standing through it. She nodded slowly. She remembered her father's words from years ago. Courage doesn't always roar, Emmy. Sometimes it's the quiet voice saying, I'll get through this. Tonight, those words finally made sense. Dash dash dash. The store owner arrives. Mr. Martin rushed inside, pale and breathless. When he saw Emily, he pulled her into a warm fatherly hug. I'm so sorry you went through this, he said. You're getting a raise, and you're never closing alone again. I promise. Emily felt a weight lift off her heart. Dash dash dash. The final message. That night, when she finally reached home, Emily hugged her younger brother tightly. She realized something powerful.